So in the next couple of slides we'll look at 8 terrestrial biomes.
The first terrestrial biome that we'll explore are tropical forests. Now, tropical forests are located on the equatorial and subequatorial regions, as shown on the map. Precipitation in these areas ranges from about 200 to 400 centimeters annually. The temperature in these forests, well, the air temperatures exhibit a high year-round, averaging 25 to 29 degrees Celsius, with little seasonal variation. Now, the plants found in tropical forests are vertically layered, and competition for light is intense. Layers in rainforests include emergent trees that grow above a closed canopy, the canopy trees, 1 or 2 layers of subcanopy trees, and shrub and herb layers. Now, the Earth's tropical forests are home to millions of species of animals, including an estimated 5 to 30 million still undocumented species of insects, spiders, and other arthropods. The human impact on tropical forests has been nothing less than devastating. Demand for cheap fast food has led to the deforestation of swathes of tropical forests in South America and Indonesia.
Number 2. Deserts. Deserts occur in bands near 30 degrees north and south latitude or at other latitudes in the interior of continents, for instance the Gobi Desert of North Central Asia. Precipitation. Precipitation is low and highly variable, generally less than 30 centimeters per year. Temperature. Temperature is variable seasonally and daily. Maximum air temperature in hot deserts may exceed 50 degrees Celsius. In cold deserts, air temperature may fall below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Plants. Deserts are dominated by low, widely scattered vegetation. The proportion of bare ground is high compared with other biomes. The plants include succulents such as cacti or euphorbs, deeply rooted shrubs, and herbs that grow during the infrequent moist periods. Animals. Common desert animals include snakes and lizards, scorpions, ants, beetles, migratory and resident birds, and seed-eating rodents. The human impact. Urbanization and conversion to irrigated agriculture have reduced the natural diversity of some deserts. Number 3. Savannas. Savannas. Distribution. Savanna occurs in equatorial and subequatorial regions. Precipitation. Seasonal rainfall averages 30 to 50 centimeters per year. Temperature. The savanna is warm year-round, averaging 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. Plants. The scattered trees found at different densities in the savanna often are thorny and have small leaves, an apparent adaptation to the relatively dry conditions. Animals. Large plant-eating mammals such as wildebeests and zebras and predators, including lions and hyenas, are common inhabitants. Human impact. The earliest humans may have lived in savannas. Fires set by humans may help maintain this biome, though overly frequent fires reduce tree regeneration by killing the seedlings and saplings.
Number 4. Chaparral. Distribution. This biome occurs in mid-latitude coastal regions on several continents, and its many names reflect its far-flung distribution. Chaparral in North America, Matorral in Spain and Chile, the Marquis in southern France, and the Fynbos in South Africa. Precipitation. Precipitation is highly seasonal. Annual precipitation generally falls within the range of 30 to 50 centimeters. Temperature. Average summer temperature can reach 30 degrees Celsius, and daytime maximum temperature can exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Plants. Chaparral is dominated by shrubs and small trees, along with many kinds of grasses and herbs. Animals. Native mammals include browsers such as deer and goats that feed on twigs and buds of woody vegetation, a high diversity of small mammals. Human impact. Chaparral areas have been heavily settled and reduced through conversion to agriculture and urbanization. Humans contribute to the fires that sweep across the chaparral.
Number 5. Temperate grassland. Distribution. The Vels of South Africa, the Puszta of Hungary, the Pampas of Argentina and Uruguay, the steppes of Russia, and the plains and prairies of central North America are examples of temperate grasslands. Precipitation. Annual precipitation generally averages between 30 and 100 centimeters. Periodic drought is common. Temperature.
Winters are generally cold, with average temperatures falling below -10 degrees Celsius. Plants. The dominant plants are grasses and forbs, which vary in height from a few centimeters to 2 meters in tall grass prairie. Animals. Native mammals include large grazers such as bison and wild horses. Human impact. In some dry grasslands, cattle and other grazers have turned parts of the biome into desert. Number 6. Northern coniferous forests. The northern coniferous forest, or taiga, is the largest terrestrial biome on Earth. Precipitation. Annual precipitation generally ranges from 30 to 70 centimeters, and periodic droughts are common. Temperature. Winters are usually cold. Summers may be hot. Some areas of coniferous forest in Siberia typically range in temperature from -50 degrees Celsius in winter to over 20 degrees Celsius in summer. Plants. Northern coniferous forests are dominated by cone-bearing trees such as pine, spruce, fir and hemlock, some of which depend on fire to regenerate. Animals. Periodic outbreaks of insects that feed on the dominant trees can kill vast tracts of the forest. Human impact. Although they have not been heavily settled by human populations, northern coniferous forests are being logged at an alarming rate, and the old growth stands of these trees may soon disappear. Number 7. Temperate broadleaf forest. Distribution. Temperate broadleaf forest is found mainly at mid-latitudes in the northern hemisphere. Precipitation. Precipitation can average from about 70 to 200 centimeters annually. Temperature. Winter temperatures average 0 degrees Celsius. Summers with temperatures up to 35 degrees Celsius are hot and humid. Plants. A mature temperate broadleaf forest has distinct vertical layers, including a closed canopy, 1 and 2 strata of understory trees, a shrub layer and a herb layer. Animals. Mammals, birds and insects make use of all the vertical layers of the forest. Human impact. Temperate broadleaf forests have been heavily settled on all continents. Logging and land clearing for agriculture and urban development cleared virtually all the original deciduous forests in North America. Number 8. The tundra.
Where can we find it? The tundra covers expansive areas of the Arctic, amounting to 20% of Earth's land surface. Precipitation. Precipitation averages from 20 to 60 centimeters annually in the tundra, but may exceed 100 centimeters in alpine tundra. Temperature. Winters are long and cold, with average temperatures in some areas below 30 degrees Celsius. Plants. Well, the vegetation is mainly herbaceous, consisting of a mixture of mosses, grasses and forbs, along with some dwarf shrubs. Animals. Usually large grazing musk oxen live there, while caribou and reindeer are migratory. The impact of humans on the tundra. Tundra is sparsely settled, but has become the focus of significant mineral and oil extraction in recent years. Now, ecologists distinguish between freshwater biomes and marine biomes on the basis of physical and chemical differences. For example, marine biomes generally have salt concentrations that average 3%, whereas freshwater biomes are usually characterized by a salt concentration of less than 0.1%. The oceans make up the largest marine biome, covering about 75% of the Earth's surface. Because of their vast size, they have an enormous impact on the biosphere. The evaporation of water from the oceans provides most of the planet's rainfall, and ocean temperatures have a major effect on world climate and wind patterns. Now, many aquatic biomes are physically and chemically stratified or layered, as shown in the figure on the right hand side of the slide. Now, light is absorbed by both the water itself and the photosynthetic organisms in it, so light intensity decreases rapidly with depth. Many aquatic biomes are physically and chemically stratified, layered vertically and horizontally, as shown in the image on the right hand side of the screen. Light is absorbed by water and by photosynthetic organisms, so its intensity decreases rapidly with depth. The upper photic zone is a region where there is sufficient light for photosynthesis,
while the lower aphotic zone is the region where little light penetrates. The photic and aphotic zones together make up the pelagic zone. Deep in the aphotic zone lies the abyssal zone, the part of the ocean 2,000 to 6,000 meters below the surface. At the bottom of all these aquatic zones, deep or shallow, is the benthic zone, made up of sand and organic and inorganic sediments. The benthic zone is occupied by communities of organisms collectively called the benthos. A major source of food for many benthic species is dead organic matter called detritus, which rains down from the productive surface waters of the photic zone. Marine zonation. Like lakes, the marine environment is generally classified on the basis of light penetration, photic and aphotic zones, distance from shore and water depth, intertidal, neritic and oceanic zones, and whether the environment is open water, pelagic zone, or on the bottom, benthic and abyssal zones. In the ocean, and in most lakes, a narrow layer of abrupt temperature change called a thermocline separates a more uniformly warm upper layer from more uniformly cold deeper waters. Lakes tend to be particularly layered with respect to temperature, especially during summer and winter, but many temperate lakes undergo a semi-annual mixing of their waters as a result of changing temperature profiles. This turnover, as it is called, sends oxygenated water from a lake's surface to the bottom and brings nutrient-rich water from the bottom to the surface in both spring and autumn. In both freshwater and marine environments, communities are distributed according to water depth, degree of light penetration, distance from shore, and whether they are found in open water or near the bottom. Let's have a look at the seasonal turnover in lakes on the next slide. So let's have a look at the seasonal conduction in ice-covered lakes in winter. Winter. Number 1. In winter, the coldest water in the lake, 0 degrees Celsius, lies just below the surface ice. Water becomes progressively warmer at deeper levels of the lake, typically 4 degrees Celsius at the bottom. Spring. Number 2. In spring, the surface water warms to 4 degrees Celsius and mixes with the layers below, eliminating thermal stratification. Spring winds help mix the water, bringing oxygen to the bottom and nutrients to the surface. Summer. Number 3. In summer, the lake regains a distinctive thermal profile with warm surface water separated from cold bottom water by a narrow vertical zone of abrupt temperature change called a thermocline. Autumn. Number 4. In autumn, as surface water cools rapidly, it sinks beneath the underlying layers, remixing the water until the surface begins to freeze and the winter temperature profile is re-established.